Okay, so I do want to start with this beautiful quote, though, by Ernest Holmes. There is a fire in the soul of man or woman, kindled by the living spirit, and that fire is a divine urge, a celestial flame, a spiritual light, a heavenly glow, which burns eternally. I'm glad it's Father's Day today. I wasn't even going to talk about Father's Day, but it's the way I'm going to start this, and I'm just going to go there, okay? So I'm going out on a limb, guys. All right, so you all, excuse me. Okay, so I was brought up, and many of you already know this about me, and if you've read my book, you know everything about me because I told the truth in my book. So I was brought up in a very patriarchal household. My father was the boss, and that whatever he said went. And he was very creative and passionate, and he was very stern and scary at times, and yet he had this other side to him that was like so loving in so many ways and so appreciative of art and music, and I got all those things from him. And but there was one thing I couldn't get from him, or at least I perceived I couldn't get from him, and I knew nothing about this philosophy. I knew nothing about consciousness. I knew nothing about anything besides that fire within me wanted something from my daddy, and that was love. Could my daddy love me? And I'm sure he did love me a lot, and I knew that on the day he died, that he did love me a lot. Probably more than I knew, but I didn't feel it. And I wanted it. I wanted it badly. And no matter what I did, I felt like I wasn't receiving it. I wasn't receiving it if I wasn't a good enough girl. I was told I was bad. I was told I did something bad, or all those things. And I couldn't be good enough, which, interestingly, we carry those things forward with us. So anyway, to make a long story short about that part of my life, I ended up in a situation where I got love, and not the best way possible, and that was through sex, okay? And I was young, and I was in a situation that was, now when I look back at it, was abusive, but I didn't know that at the time because I was a totally unconscious being. All I had was that one thing I wanted, which was love. But I didn't know that that came from within inside me. I only knew that I could get it from whatever else, and in that way, that's where I got it. If I could be good enough that way, then I could get it. And so I lived that life, that part of myself, without going into all the details, in a way that was not healthy, was not like the best of Rita, was not, because I didn't know who I was and because I was still searching for that thing, that fire. But I don't feel sad. I don't feel bad about any of it. And that's what I want to get to today, is that who we were in the past, whether we were in addiction or, used sex in a way that we shouldn't have, or whatever, none of that stuff really matters. And what I'm learning is that the biggest thing that we have to do as human beings is not just to forgive others, but to forgive ourselves. And I think it's the hardest thing for us to do. Like, we say we do it, but I know for myself, things just come up, and I realize that I haven't forgiven myself for whatever it was. And it might be the way I thought I treated my children, or this whole experience I had as a teenager. It might be anything, but I haven't totally forgiven myself. And do you know how important it is to forgive ourselves for everything? Because if we don't forgive ourselves for everything, we can't move forward. And what I've learned about forgiveness is the first step of it is to admit that something happened and that you didn't feel good about. That something happened, whatever that was. Maybe you were responsible for it, maybe you weren't. Well, in our philosophy, we're responsible for everything that comes into our path. But once you can admit it and look at it and say, yeah, that happened, I did that, I don't feel good about that, or whatever, there's some release in that. But I think what happens sometimes in forgiveness, at least in my case, is that we say we're looking at it, but we're really kind of denying that it happened within ourselves, or we're not taking responsibility for it, which is the full teaching of our philosophy, is self-responsibility. And so, but once we do that, it's so freeing. And for me, it took coming to this philosophy, admitting what happened to me, calling for it for what it was, and blessing it and letting it go, that allowed me to grow and to expand and to realize, and what I really realized, and this is the whole thing about our teaching, is about consciousness. It's all about consciousness. And when we don't know that, when we don't know that we're responsible for everything in our lives, when we don't know that we're on remote control and we're just living out something that happened to us when we were a kid, and we're just living it over and over and over again, and our brains are just, wired that way. When we don't know that, we can't move forward. And the most valuable thing for this teaching for me is that I get to take full responsibility for all of it. And that responsibility includes forgiving myself for whatever I feel like I need to forgive myself for. And also that I'm not ashamed of anything that happened. I'm not ashamed of it. It happened. It was my spiritual growth. It was my journey. It was my evolution. I don't have to be ashamed about that. I don't have to hide it. I don't have to hide it like I'm hiding it, like it's something that didn't happen to me. I get to express it, I get to forgive it, and I get to let it go. So that, to me, was one of the biggest gifts that lights my fire, because that's our talk about this teaching, is that idea that I'm responsible. And so we just finished something really amazing, and it was a program that changed my life in 2007. And I did it at least 14 times. It's called Mental Muscle Spiritual Boot Camp. And in this program, which was conceived by Dr. James Mellon in 2007, and it's still being done by thousands and thousands of people all over the globe, what you have to do, and this is what changed my life in 2007 when it all started, because I was in practitioner studies, you have to go into every belief that you have, look at it boldly, and decide whether or not you want to change it or not. The course starts with, and it's 16 weeks long. We did it in 8 weeks because I just was like, I don't think people will show up for 16 weeks. I did, but I'm not sure that would be possible here with everybody's schedule and trips and stuff. But it's 16 directives. And the first one is your word. You get to pick a word that you want to carry with you through the whole boot camp. And you want to explore that word, and you want to find out if it's true for you, if it works for you, and what it brings up for you. My word was revive, R-E-V-I-V-E, revive. It just came to me. And I can tell you that I have revived so much within myself by gathering with these 7 people that took this class with me and listening to them and seeing them go through their thing, and it's all confidential, so we're not going to talk about it, and to see them do their best to approach each of the directives. And I'm gonna go look at the notes because I don't want to forget the directives. Because the first one is you're not allowed to complain. Because when you complain, what do? You fill your energy up with negative, and you don't have room to expand. The second one is your expectations. You get to look at what you expect from life. And you wake up every morning and go, what am I expecting today to be like? And then you realize that your expectations are based on your beliefs. That's the next, because you wouldn't be expecting that if you didn't have some belief behind it. And the next one is about being present. If we're not present in life right here, right now, we can't receive any kind of intuition or anything if we don't stay present. And then the next one is patience. And granted, I'm telling you, every week They were going through this and looking at these things and coming back and reporting. Patience. Patience is knowing. We wouldn't be worried about anything if we knew. We wouldn't be impatient if we knew everything. My life is always unfolding perfectly. Whatever's happening now, I can be patient. I want this to happen, but I'm patient because I know that that outcome is there for me. So patience was the next one. The next one is listening. How many of us listen, really listen, not just to other people, but listen to what's going on inside of us? The other one is once it was to resolve everything in the moment, like take care of it. If there's something you've been procrastinating, take care of it. And then boundaries, that we have good boundaries that like, oh my God, that we need to have. There's certain boundaries we need, but there's others that hold us back and stop us from having amazing relationships and all of that. So we explored that. The next one was prioritizing. Once you know your boundaries, then you get to know what your priorities are. And if you're not your first priority, forget it, because you need to be your first priority. Because if you're not, then you're not good for anyone else. And then life force. Your life force, feeling your actual life force and what ignites it and what dampens it and what puts the fire out and what, well, it can never put the fire out, but what dampens it or makes it go low or into ashes or whatever with just a little glow underneath it because you've covered it up. And those things that allow you to heighten your life force. And then perfect. Oh, perfectionism. Oh my God. How many of you think you're a perfectionist? Well, we learned the difference between being a perfectionist, which is not a good thing to be because you're never going to make it as a perfectionist. I know because I was one, and you're never going to be perfect enough. Or that you're always perfect, which is your inner beauty and your inner self is always perfect. And then intention. If you don't have intention in your life, something you're following, your intention, whatever that is, to be mine is to be a presence of love in the world. That's my intention, and to do it through all my talents that I have. Otherwise, you're just going to be wandering through life, wondering what you want. Intention. And you don't have to be any age. I'm 72, and I still have intentions. I still feel alive. I'm still shifting. I'm still changing. And then self-esteem. Oh my God, that's just, do you love yourself? That's so important. Do you love yourself? And the way you feel about yourself is the way you treat others, and the way you treat yourself is by how much self-esteem you have. And then feelings. Oh my God, feelings. What are you feeling right now? We had to wake up every morning and ask ourselves that question. What am I feeling? Because do I feel like my feelings are out of control, or do I get to choose my feelings? And we discovered that we get to choose our feelings. We get to choose them. If a feeling is there that we don't like, we get to decide whether we want to keep that feeling or not, because we know it's a feeling universe, a vibrational universe. And then, last but not least, the best one, judgment. How judgmental are we of ourselves, and how of others, and are we discerning, or are we judgmental? Anyway, I wanted to share that with you because that changed my life. But it wasn't over just because I took it in 2007 and many, probably 14 or more times after that. It was because I adhered to, I explored the principles. So I want to invite these 7 spiritual warriors up here. Where are you going? You know, they showed up every day, Tuesdays and Fridays, at 8:30 a.m. here. I had to do it. I had to show up at 7 a.m., so I made it easier on them. No, I'm going to have you come down here, because just come in front here. It'll be better.
You need this?
Yeah, and I want the lei. You will help me. Patrick will help me with the lei. And I have, Melissa, just hold that. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and give them their lei. So I want to acknowledge these people as beautiful spiritual warriors that inspired me, because there's nothing better that lights my fire than to be with people that are trying to make a change in their life. So, Mary McDermott, there's your diploma. Melissa Mocho, Leslie David, Reverend Suzanne, where are you? There you are. Stream Bakanov. Ron Stova. Yes. Cliff Van Dyke, there he is. And that's it. I think I got everybody, didn't I? Yes. So I just want to say thank you to these beautiful people. And I don't want to take too much time, but if you'd like to say something that you got out of it, that would be really like 30 seconds each. Okay? Go ahead, you got the mic. Something, just one little thing.
It was worth it. I gotta tell you. And I just went way deeper than I thought I was going to. And things are opening inside of me that have been shut for my entire life, 71 years. And I'm just really, really appreciative for this opportunity to go deep. Thank you.
Short.
Okay, well, I only have a couple things to say, and one is truly life-changing. I mean, who knew? It was a wonderful, and guess what?
Oh.
Thank you so much. This is from all of us.
Thank you. Whoa, don't fall.
Oh, sorry about that.
You're not allowed to fall.
Anyways, this is from all of us to you.
Okay, thank you. I love you all.
Well,
Short, Miss True.
yes, well, I joined for a spiritual reset, but I ended up with a spiritual renaissance. It was really awesome class. Please take this class the next time around.
We might not be able to. It's going to Mind Valley. We might be the last.
Thank you, Rita.
Is that all you want to say? Okay.
So I took the class back in 2015, and it changed my life, and my word back then was home, and now I'm at home everywhere. And this time my word was Yara'uf, which is Arabic for self-forgiveness, like Rita was talking, and I found that that's the path to opening everything. And for 20 years I've been saying I would get a book of poetry published, and in 2 weeks during this class I did it.
Go for it.
Hi. It was very interesting. It was a totally different way to look at myself. I saw myself in a whole different spotlight, and it was really quite cathartic.
Thank you. Cool.
I'm grateful to Rev Rita and all of my journey people because it took all of us to pull it out, and I appreciate the opening and the opening. Thank you.
Thank you.
So one more thing.
Okay.
So the book and the program are really wonderful, but doing it with Rita, who gives it so much attention and models it, is what makes it really work.
Thank you. And thank you. And I just want to give a special shout out to Dr. James Mellon, who conceived the program and allowed us to do it. So thank you, and please give them a hand of applause, and we're done.